For those that don't know Skip, this is Skip Lane, our host today. And Skip will just stand here and he can tell you what year each car is, because that seems to be one of the questions.
Okay, starting over in the corner, that's a 31 V8 Cadillac. It's called a rumble seat roadster. That's a very sporty car in its day. And if you'll notice, it has a golf bag door on the right side. That little door opens up over there. Next to it, that little red pickup is a 28 Model A Ford. That's one of the first 200 Model A's built. It's called they designate it as an AR. And it has about a half a dozen features that are unique to that particular group of cars. Then the gray car over there is a 27 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1. That's the second generation roll back to the Silver Ghost. That car was built for a Raja in India and sent to India when it was built. It has a Hooper body on it, which was probably the biggest London body maker in its day. In those days, if you bought a Rolls-Royce, you bought the chassis from Rolls-Royce, and then they sent it out to a body maker, in this case Hooper. The body is all aluminum on that car, and the car weighs almost 5,000 pounds. It's an inline six-cylinder, develops about 100 horsepower, but it's got 8 liters. Big engine. The yellow car here is a 31 Packard. It's called a Phaeton. This is called the Standard 8. This is not the Big Packard. The Big Packards, they have what they call a dual cowl Phaeton, and behind the front seat it actually has like a metal deck. This doesn't have that. So this is kind of a smaller Packard in its day. Interesting story, if you don't mind me going a little bit. When I bought that Cadillac, if you remember, it's a V8. It had a vibration in it at about 50 miles an hour. And we did everything we could think of trying to get rid of it. We balanced tires and just fooled with it. But it was just like a harmonic vibration between 47 and 50. So I just lived with that for a couple of years. And then I got this Packard and I was reading about it. And the Packard has a straight 8. Well, anyway, in 30-31, when Cadillac and Packard were downsizing because of the Depression, they were coming out with 8-cylinder cars instead of 12s and 16s. Packard was trying to decide if they wanted to put a straight 8 or a V8 in the car. And then I read the time and said the Packard decided on the straight 8 because they wanted to avoid the inherent vibration in the Cadillac V8. So there it is, built into the Cadillac. I thought that was pretty interesting. I had to get the Packard to find out what was wrong with that. This little white car is XK140 Jaguar. It's a 1956. The XK120 came out in late 49, and it was the first XK engine sports car, and it was called the 120 because it had been clocked at 120 miles per hour. Then in about 55, they came out with this, which is the 140, 140 miles an hour. Pretty clever, weren't they? And they built this car for a couple of years, and then they came out with the XK150, which was close to 150 miles an hour. The 150 was only built for a couple of years in the late 50s. And then, I think it was in about 1960, the XKE was developed, and that little red car out there that's a 64. It's still a Series 1, the first Series XKE. You can tell the Series 1 because they have the covered headlights. It's a 3.8 liter engine, and in 65 they came out with the Series 1.5, which had a 4.2 liter. It's the same engine, but they just increased the bore a little bit. Okay, so that's that. This yellow car here is a 48 Jaguar. It's called a 3-position drop head coupe. And the reason that this is position 1, you can roll the top about halfway back, gives it position 2, or put it all the way down. This particular car, I've not had the top down. This is really my showpiece here. It took us about 3 years to restore this car. I bought the car in Nova Scotia in about 1995. We took it to, when it was finished, we took it to Meadowbrook up in Detroit, and it won a blue ribbon there. And then about 6 months after that, we took it to Amelia Island and won a blue ribbon there. So I was really on the roll with that car, and I thought, well, I'm going to go for big time with Jay Leno and take it to Pebble Beach. So I got a hold of the guy that runs the Pebble Beach Concourse, and he was all for it. I sent him some pictures of the car, and he said, oh, we'd love to have that car. This is really what we're looking for. And then a few days later, he called me back, and he said, you know what? We don't have a class. Because that is a post-war production car, and they don't do production cars. They only do custom, one-off bodies post-war. So he said, at least that was the case that year, and I didn't try after that. But this car is very accurately restored, and it's just like it came off the showroom. In fact, the color, we got a color chip from the Jaguar factory from 1948 that matched this color too. And the same thing with the upholstery and trim. So it's about as accurate as we can make the car. The engine in this car is a 6-cylinder, but it's just a standard pushrod design, where the XK engines, which they came out with the XK 120, was really what made Jaguar famous and made their name. Also, this car is the same design as the 35 Jaguar, and when the war ended, they just put that design back into production because they were just trying to get the factory going again. But before the war, the company was not called Jaguar, it was called SS, or Standard Swallow. And a guy named Lyons was the head of the company. Well, obviously after World War II, they couldn't call a car SS, especially in Britain. So his wife actually came up with the name Jaguar. And that's what they call this. But this is the exact, if you find the 35 SS, it'll look just like this. The P100 headlights are a big giveaway, the big chrome headlights. And the engine, the body, everything is the same design. But as I said, in 49 they developed what they call the Mark V, and it really looks much like the headlights are built into the fender, and it's a little more modern than the car. They only built that for about a year and a half, and then they got into the XK, and that's the Jaguar for the car. Well, let me say we have insured about 100 days. I don't know, if somebody wants to make me an offer. It's